Episode 2, Duck Boat Dispatch. We are back here again. Yeah, these headphones are not working. They're coming off immediately. Episode 2, got a lot to talk about again. Boston Celtics season is over. New England Patriots OTA started potential wedding in December with Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. We'll talk about that as well. Bruins extend Don Sweeney, and the Boston Red Sox, 2 wins in a row? 2 wins in a row? Maybe we can get something going, but every single time I feel like they win 2 in a row, when they get going, something bad is about to happen. So we got a lot to talk about. Tom here, Josh, Sara, how we doing, guys?
Going.
Nice. Really high energy. Really high energy. Love to see it. Love to see it.
I'm trying to live right now. Trying after what happened. No, God no.
Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe you just switched up after graduation.
No, God no. No, I'm talking about, what is it, game 6 we lost?
Yeah, game 6, Boston Celtics season is over.
Bad lose.
It's heartbreaking. We'll jump right into it. We are going to keep an eye. The NFL owners meeting is going on right now. The tush push was just voted to stay. It's here, 22-10. Tush push stays, thankfully, I think. If you want the tush push to leave, you're kind of a pussy. It's my personal opinion.
Or your team just can't figure out how to beat it.
Legitimately.
Does your mother approve of you saying that word, Tom? Do I need to have a word with her?
It's not. That clip's not going to get posted. That clip's not going to get posted. Shh.
Well, the whole podcast is, what if your mom wants to listen to the whole thing and she hears you say that?
Dude, if my mom listens to the whole thing, I'd be shocked.
You're just going to edit that one part out and send it to her.
Yeah.
And then post the whole thing.
Wow, okay, I see how it is, guys.
I'm personally going to go in and clip that part and post it myself.
And just
all the power to you.
I'll do it.
Stupid.
Don't think I will.
Whatever.
Are you okay?
You're
having a lot of setup issues.
I am having a lot of setup issues right now. But that's on me. We'll figure it out. We're gonna fight through it. So yeah, let's go to the Celtics. They lose game 6, but after that first quarter, you knew it was over. You knew it was over after the first quarter. They could not buy a bucket.
I kept believing until the fourth quarter. I am gonna disagree with you on it was over in the first quarter. There was still a whole second half left to be played. I don't think it's really right to say that it was over in the first quarter. Yeah, it wasn't game 5 where they blew them out, but I was at least expecting a relatively close game.
Yeah, I was expecting a close game, but after this, there was just no offensive flow out there whatsoever. They weren't hitting their 3-point shots. Jaylen Brown was really the only one who had any sort of offensive efficiency that night. Derek White couldn't hit the ocean. KP played 10 minutes of the game. Drew Holiday aged before her eyes. You could tell after that first quarter, when the second quarter got going and they couldn't hit shots, New York was finding a rhythm. The game was over. So I don't want to spend too much time on the game. It was almost a week ago at this point. I don't want to spend too much time on the game. It's more of what now? Where do they go now? Who gets cut? Is Joe Mazzulla's job on the line? Has he underachieved with this team? Is he to blame for the loss? Because he was outcoached in that series by Tibbs. We'll get into all that and more. But let's start with, who do we think is gone from this team, player-wise? Because I think it's KP and Drew without a doubt.
KP is the obvious one. I think KP's cooked.
KP's gone, for sure.
I was poking around, and there was a lot of talk about Drew Holiday being possibly traded to the Orlando Magic.
If they could get Wendell Carter Jr. back in that trade, a big man, I'd be pretty happy.
But then there was talk what would go with him, and a lot of people were saying the first pick, the first round pick that the Celtics have would go with him. And then I noticed people were talking about Derek White to the Warriors. Could that happen, and would it happen?
I've seen that. So Derek White has the most trade value out of
easily
anybody on this roster, because I'm under the assumption that Tatum and Brown are untouchable. Well, untouchable. They're gonna be here. They're the cornerstones. You need a miraculous offer. If Jalen or Tatum are gone, you need an otherworldly offer. But even then, they're both injured, so you're gonna get less on return. They're not going anywhere. Derek White has the most value. He's young, friendlier contract. Drew is old. Who the hell knows what's going on with Kristaps Porzingis? He has the most value. But what are the Warriors going to offer you? Jimmy Butler? Kuminga's a free agent.
I was going to say Kuminga.
He's a free agent.
Kuminga's a free agent?
I'm pretty sure he's a free agent. But even then, Derek White for Kuminga, you don't need a forward that bad. You still have Sam Hauser, although I think he's gone as well. And you can just plug and play Baylor Shireman. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kuminga's a free agent, Josh. I can tell you looking it up.
Fact checking this.
But either way, I don't think the Warriors have. I mean, that's it. I don't know anybody else in the Warriors you want. Is Gary Payton?
He's a restricted free agent.
He is a restricted free agent, so they have to match
He's
the
restricted.
contract. Okay.
Yeah.
Still, though, I don't think Kuminga's enough for Derek White. I think that's not enough in return.
I think the most sensible trades would be Holiday and Porzingis. I can't say his name.
Tingus.
I've been struggling to talk today. That's what I've noticed this morning.
Sir. Well, I can't I can't get my seat straight. You can't talk, and Josh is in a bad mood. So it's gonna be a great pod.
This is gonna be a fun one. But like Holiday, he has 3 years left on his contract. That would be like 35 mil for the next 3 years. We need to free up salary cap. So by trading him, that would probably make the most sense money-wise.
Yeah, so you have to. The way that trading salary in the NBA works is you don't have to match exactly cap. It has to be close enough. So you can trade Drew, like he's a $35 million contract. Let's say you trade him and you get 28 back. So you kill $7 million off the cap. You have another 13 to go. You trade KP, was an $18 million cap hit. Say you get 12 back. You trade Sam Hauser, you get 6 back. You kill the cap problem right there. You get under that second apron is how they're going to do it. So you'll see multiple moves. I don't know who they're going to get or what teams they target. I have guys I would like them to target. Walker Kessler on the Utah Jazz. He's on a 1-year deal. I don't think he's going to be a long-term future on the Utah Jazz. Traditional big man, can rebound, play defense. Somebody I'd like to see them get. A bigger name who I think could be in the running. Bam Adebayo in the Miami Heat is very good friends with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White. He's friendly with those guys. The Miami Heat are entering a rebuild, getting on expiring contracts. Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Sam Hauser, even getting those expiring contracts. Pat Riley would never do it, but something I would like to see happen.
I was gonna say, looking at it from the Heat's perspective, you really think they're going to trade their star Bam Adebayo for an aging Drew Holiday and an injury-prone Kristaps Porzingis? Probably not. With those contracts, probably not. It wouldn't take them anywhere. They'd be in the same position that they have been in the last few positions, where they barely make the playoffs and then they do nothing with it. It wouldn't get them anywhere.
Yeah, it's just something I'd like to see happen. He fits the time frame of this team as well. Roster-wise, he's the same age, similar age to Tatum and Brown, so it'd be nice to get a guy, big man, on a very similar timeline. But just wishful thinking. Obviously, we'll see more and more trades. What I want to talk about more now, though, because we could go on and on about the roster and just start throwing names out there with little pop shots. Joe Mazzulla, outcoached in this series, we all agree?
I'm going to be blatantly honest.
You don't know.
Well.
Yeah, you don't know enough to say. So I believe Josh and I, Joe Mazzulla was outcoached. He was outcoached. You can't confidently say it's okay. Outcoached. Has Joe Mazzulla underachieved in his time here with the Boston Celtics? He has a championship run, and he has an Eastern Conference Finals loss, and he has a round 2 loss against the New York Knicks, which just happened. I think he's underachieved so far as the head coach of the Boston Celtics. They should be 2-time champs. They should not.
No, God, no. I don't think he's underachieved at all. Wait, you're telling me because of one, because there's not 2 championships, there's only 1. That's enough to underachieve this guy? That sounds like Mike Malone. That sounds like what they just did with Mike Malone. They didn't give him 2 championships, so they killed Mike Malone.
I'm not saying they should fire him, but I think if you look at it right now, at the roster he's consistently had a top 3 roster in the NBA over the last 3 years. They lost to an inferior Miami Heat team where they went down 3-0 and couldn't complete the miracle comeback because Jason Tatum got injured in the very first minutes of that Game 7, and he had no game plan whatsoever when Tatum was out. They go to the finals last year on what I'm not going to say is a Mickey Mouse run, but they had an easier path to the finals. Players were injured. It happens. I'm not taking anything away from that championship. And then they lose to an inferior Knicks team in round 2. And yeah, Tatum goes out. You can't predict that. But they blow a 20-point lead in Game 1. They blow a 20-point lead in Game 2. And in Game 3, they had a 14-point lead. And in Game 4, they had a 14-point lead and almost lost it. So I think he's underachieved a bit as a head coach.
I don't think it's fair to say that he's underachieved. Yeah, he didn't do good in this playoff series. I don't think he did good at all, especially against the Knicks. I think he did better in game 5, was it? Game 5? Or no?
The first game without Tatum,
No,
game 5.
I'm sorry. No. Game 5, they did better. He did a much better job coaching, but overall, he didn't do a good job. I don't think it's still fair to say that he's underachieved as a head coach. I don't think that's fair, considering that his job, his position that he was in, he's not supposed to be in this position. He was supposed to be an assistant head coach next to Ime Udoka. So considering you have a assistant head coach, very young, very not so experienced as a lot of other coaches in the league, I don't think it's fair to say that he's underachieved. I think you're asking a lot from him.
I think it's fair to say he, again, has had one of the best rosters in the NBA in his 3 years, and he's made the finals once. He's losing to inferior teams because he's outcoached by Spoelstra and Tibbs.
I don't think it's fair to say he's underachieved. Again, the position that he's been in, he literally won them. He helped win a championship last year. They've made Eastern Conference Finals multiple times. I don't think it's fair to say that, considering that he's still a very, very young coach, and that, again, he was an assistant coach originally. He's not supposed to be in this position.
Well, the great thing, Josh, is this upcoming season, they won't have Tatum for a while. They probably won't have Tatum the entire year, and they won't have Brown maybe for the start of the season. So we are going to see what Joe Mazzulla is made of as a head coach this upcoming season. I'm not expecting much. Brown tore his
Meniscus,
so he's going to have surgery. He was playing on a torn meniscus a while ago. He's been playing on it for like a month, they said. Yeah, so well, we needed him, and he was able to tough it out.
So what?
They were looking to go back to back.
I've done the same thing. I've done the same thing. I can't talk.
Yeah, they were looking to go back to back. They were
Yeah.
looking to go back to back. He was trying to tough it out. And I appreciate that from him. I do.
But when you're hurt and then you lose Jason Tatum,
Well, it wasn't like the same game he got injured. He's
I know
been dealing with
that.
it for months. All right. I'm just making sure you know.
Got that. but like,
Yes. So he had surgery. So we're gonna see what he is made of this upcoming season. Joe Mazzulla as a head coach, which I think will be very interesting to see what he does without top tier talent and how well he coaches.
I feel like people could turn this into like what happened with Brady and Belichick when he went to Tampa. Like, was it all Tom Brady or was it because of Bill?
It's
Like, is it-
absolutely all because of Tatum, if that's what you're inferring. It's all because of Tatum and Brown.
Okay, are you biased because you have a weird obsession with him, or is that your?
Yes, he is. Before he says anything, yes, he is. Yes, he absolutely is. Tom
Whatever.
is known for undervaluing the entire team and just says that's all Tatum. Which
I just said
will
Tatum
go-
and Brown.
Oh,
No.
sorry.
Said Tatum.
And Brown. Sorry. And Brown.
He's benefited from having top tier talent in his 3 years as a head coach. He's never had to coach a below average team.
Okay, so is the top tier talent just Jason Tatum, or is it including Brown, Derek White, and all the other guys?
She's got a point, Tom.
Tatum, Brown, top tier talent. Derek White, I don't know if you call him top tier talent, but he's a phenomenal basketball player. He's not a role player. He hasn't had to. If you look at what
If you're saying that the entire work ethic was from Tatum and Brown, but you're saying Joe Mazzulla's underachieving because of the amazing team he has, where you get that doesn't make sense. You're undervaluing the team, but saying Joe Mazzulla needs to do better with the team he
I
has.
just said he's had top 3 teams his 3 years in the NBA as a head coach. He's had top tier
Yeah.
teams with the top
You're
5
saying-
player in the league, guaranteed those 3 years, top 2 this year, and Jaylen Brown is a top 15 player.
You're saying teams, but then when you say it's all been Tatum and Brown, that's not the team, that's 2 players, Tom. But mainly, you're only talking about 1 player, and we know
Well,
that.
let's look at the whole team. But he's okay. So he's gonna be coaching this year without his best player, Jason Tatum, and he's probably not gonna have Brown for the start of the season, most likely, depending on how long it takes him to rehab. So he's gonna be coaching a team without the top 2 players, both top 15 players in the NBA. I don't think anyone would argue that. What is he going to do without that? I'm not saying Derek White isn't a great basketball player. I'm not saying Drew Holiday isn't a good basketball player. He won't be here, though. But even then, so what is he going to do with a subpar roster? I don't think you can say he's going to have a great roster this upcoming season, Josh.
No, the roster is definitely going to take a hit. I'm not saying that the roster is going to be a 2-80 win team right here. I'm not saying it's going to be utter trash, but I'm thinking it's at least still a competent playoff team.
Yeah, it'll be
It's
like a
still
7 seed.
it's still. I'm thinking anywhere from 5 to 8. That's where my trajectory is.
And that's where they should be, because they still have good players. I'm not taking anything away from Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and the surrounding cast. But the top 2 players, it's a superstar-driven league. So if you don't have those guys, the coach has to do a little bit more when it comes to coaching. He has to have better end of the game plays. He has to have more of a system that's going to be, okay, let's just huck them and let's play deep. Like, he's going to have to do a little bit more this season. We've seen Brad Stevens when he was the coach. He was able to take really bad teams, Sullinger, Bradley, Turner, Thomas, Horford, those guys, Kelly Olynyk, Jay Crowder, and make them play above what their actually skill level was. We haven't seen that from Joe yet because he hasn't had to do it because he's had, again, a top 3 roster every single year he's been the coach of the Boston Celtics. So I'm looking forward to next year to seeing what is Joe Mazzulla actually made of. Is he a good head coach, or is he just a benefit of the situation he fell into?
No, I think yeah, a lot of the success of next season is going to have to come from Joe Mazzulla's coaching. But then again, I still think that Joe Mazzulla is a very good coach. I think there's one thing he needs to work on, but he can't really work on this considering Brown and Tatum are out. My whole issue with Joe Mazzulla is that he doesn't really give the kick in the pants to these guys when it comes to the bad shots. That meaning when Tatum and Brown are slinging up pull-up threes, Brown with that fadeaway mid-range jump shot he loves, Tatum with the sidestep, and when those are falling and they're hot, I'm all for it. If they want to shoot lights out with those shots, I'm all for it. It's fun to watch. But if they're not hitting them and they're still taking them, Joe Mazzulla needs to look at his guys and be like, stop taking those shots because we're about to blow our 20-point lead that we just did 2 times in the playoffs. That's what he needs to be working on. But unfortunately, can't work on it when the 2 guys that do it aren't here.
Yeah.
So again, it's questionable.
It'll be interesting to see what happens next year with the Boston Celtics. I mean, we can speculate on and on, but there are some real sports things happening right now that I do want to talk to. Josh, I know you're not happy about this. The Boston Bruins extended Don Sweeney. They gave him 2 more years on his contract. How do you feel about that?
Dude, no bueno. No bueno. I will tell you that right off rip. No bueno, and here's why. What exactly has Don Sweeney done to earn that contract? Like, yeah, you could go around and say some things, but right as of now, he's entering a very shaky season. He's on edge right now for coming into the next season because of what he's done in the past year. The Bruins were an absolute calamity this year. The whole Swayman contract was a chaotic mess. And then you had the Brad Marchand trade where people go off saying, oh, they should do it, they shouldn't have done it. Firing Jim Montgomery, which I'm still very upset about. So this was an opportunity for the Bruins to go into this offseason saying, hey, we're going to put pressure on Don Sweeney to do well in this draft, to do well in free agency, and see if he can rebuild this team next year and see if he can, lead us to a good path. Instead of putting that pressure on him, they just said, let's give him the 2 years, the next 2 years. So he's here until 2028 now. So now he's entering the offseason with this level of confidence being like, even if I do this, I still have my job for the next 3 years now. I have 3 years under my belt. So say I don't hit on this year's draft, that's okay. I still get my job. But if he doesn't hit on this draft, say he never got that contract. Doesn't hit on the draft. Now his job is at risk. No, he has to put his best effort out there if he didn't get that contract. And now that he's gotten this contract, he has this level of confidence going into the next 3 seasons, and now I'm not confident that he's going to do a good job in the upcoming draft now.
I mean, if you
kind of pathetic move.
If you think about it, he was handed one of the best teams in the NHL. One of the strongest teams in the NHL. In the 2022-2023 season, he had the 2 best goalies in the league. Like, to the point
he screwed it up.
Exactly. We were the only team in the league that no matter what goaltender was in, we had confidence in them. And that's rare. So for him to come in after Jim Montgomery was fired, which I think is ridiculous, for him to come in and pretty much gut that team, the only people left from that team is what? Pasta, Zaka, Swayman, and what? Lindholm?
Geeky too.
McAvoy.
Geeky and McAvoy. That's it. Charlie Coyle, Trent Frederick, Olmark, they're gone. Brad Marchand, I don't even want to talk about that because that was not okay. Charlie Coyle, like all of them, why?
So they're obviously rebuilding. They're rebuilding.
building, but they had a great team. They just have a fucking terrible coach.
Well, I don't think you can say they had a great team when they're a top 4 pick in the draft this year.
This year. I'm talking about when in 2022, 2023, when we won the President's Cup.
Yeah, well, they're with almost 3 years removed from that. The team has fallen off a cliff.
They had a good team.
Why?
They had a good team. Don Sweeney did nothing free agency, had the Allmark incident, had the Swayman contract incident, and then fired Montgomery, that leading to the entire team beating bad.
And what's the common denominator in all of that?
It's Don Sweeney. I have been saying this since the dawn of time. It's always been Sweeney. It's always been Sweeney. No one's listening to me.
I'm listening to you. I just made the same fucking point.
Thank you, Sarah. And by no one's listening to me, Tom's not listening to me.
So my little sister is probably hands down the biggest Bruins fan I've ever met. I go to the game with her. She doesn't call them by their last names. Like, she'll look at Coyle and be like, "Come on, Charlie."
Oh yeah, no, that's what we always do.
Like, well, how do you know that? And she knows everyone's names. Like, she'll be like, "Hampus, come on." And I'm like, "Who is that?" But now I know who everyone is. And I was with her in March when the trade deadline was ending. We went to the Bruins game in North Carolina. It was the Bruins versus the Canes. And we went early. We watched them do warm-ups. Swayman threw a puck at her head, and it was the highlight of her night. And the next day, we were just like hanging out. She just got back from class, and we got the trade alert for Frederick, Coyle. There was someone, I can't think of who else, Marchand, and the Marchand one I don't want to talk about. But she just looks at me, she goes, "Sarah, we just watched their last game." And it was a bad day. So
I think you make a good point that they gutted the roster at the deadline, which was the right thing to do. That was the right thing to do with the way the team was. It was the right thing to do. They kept the important pieces, Swayman, Pasta, Geeky, were the important pieces to keep on that roster.
McAvoy was kept because he was hurt.
Yeah, I'm okay with keeping as well, but they gutted the roster and got capital and they got expiring contracts. That's what they needed to get because they have to rebuild and retool around Pasta. Geeky and Pasta is like, that's going to be your focal point of this team with Swayman in between the pipes as well. Pasta had a great end of the season.
Swayman's not even playing as well as he used to.
So the law of averages, it's evening out is the way it is because he came in, he was playing so hot, he's cooled off, but if he's going to pick a year to have a really bad, like the worst season of his career, it was last season and probably this upcoming season because they're going to be terrible as well. So we didn't pick it's not like he picked he picked a good time to be bad, but he needs to play better. I'm not arguing against that whatsoever. He needs to be better. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. But I think because they gutted the entire roster, I don't think it should be a surprise Sweeney got extended. He wouldn't have been allowed to do that if he wasn't going to be extended, because he would have had 1 year left on his deal without this extension, so this would have been his last season as the GM of the Boston Bruins. So it shouldn't be a surprise he got the extension, and they're going to give him the chance to kind of rebuild this team. I also wonder how much of the head coaching search goes into this decision. Is it going to be easier to sign a coach now because they missed out on their top 2 candidates already? Or is it going to be more, is that why they extended him? Because coaches didn't want to come not knowing who the GM was going to be, and now they have some sort of consistency. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on that is.
I need to go back to what you just said before that, though. Yeah, you weren't shocked because of Sweeney being extended. You're saying they're giving him a chance to rebuild this team. They already have, and he blew it. He completely blew it. And so now they're just giving him free confidence just to do whatever he wants now. Again, if he didn't have that, if he only had this one last year, this would have to be his best year to put on his very best to make sure that he ensures that his job is safe, that he earns that extension. Instead, they just handed him it, and now we don't, knowing him, is he going to do well in the draft? Is he going to put effort into free agency? We don't know that because that pressure has now been lifted off him, that his job is now secure for the next 3 years.
Like it's always fired him.
It's essentially the same thing as like when you're 5 years old, you play on the soccer team and you're probably the worst player there is, and they still give you a trophy. It's like, here, we're going to inflate your ego even though you're shit at your job. And I truly hope that he feels the hatred from every Boston Bruins fan in Massachusetts. And I'll
He's gonna
stand.
get it from me. I'm gonna write him a handwritten letter.
Well, time will tell to see what Don Sweeney does. The draft is coming up. He hasn't had a good draft in like 10 years. It's time for Sweeney.
You should
He
say
needs
so.
to do a few things. He needs to
Again.
draft well, and he needs to not fire the head coach 2 months into the season. So two things he has to
Again,
do. Two things he has to do.
why did we give him the extension then? Why did we give him it?
Should we look at what Jim Montgomery is doing now with
Well,
his
he's also
They're-
sitting on the couch right now because his
Yeah.
season's over.
Still.
But he made it
But
further than
he-
the Bruins.
Exactly.
But-
Still made playoffs. Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
No,
Blues made
he
the
took he took the Blues and elevated them. That's what he did in St. Louis. They signed him and he elevated that team to way more than they should have had. And
Did-
so that goes to show that Don Sweeney screwed up.
Oh wait, no, I think didn't one of our guys go to the Blues?
Maybe
Or am
I don't.
up?
I know Montgomery went there. I have no clue. They could have traded somebody to the Blues. Either way, they're sitting on the couch right now too.
I'm happy to go back to my coach.
Maybe. Yeah, Josh, you looking it up right now?
Yeah.
I've been making it up.
It's possible. It's very possible. But yeah, so that was the breaking news yesterday with the Boston Bruins. And before we fully touch on the New England Patriots, OTAs are in session. I feel like we have to come back to something we talked about last week with Miss Pedophily. Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson might be engaged.
Oh God.
It's speculation. There's been one report that
It-
she has told one person.
So when you told me about that yesterday, I looked it up and there was nothing. I refreshed that search last night. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. I personally don't think it's true. I feel he is the type of guy that wants to be stable in like his job and everything, even though he really doesn't need to be. He is filthy rich. But he's just starting this new career path, and I feel like that wedding would take away from what he could do, like what he's going to be doing with North Carolina. So I feel like if he did propose, he did not want it getting out.
I just don't even know if he actually. I mean, it's really so.
He did.
It's one reporter from the New York Times is saying she's heard that.
I saw it on People Magazine. I've seen it on like Yahoo.com, like Sports Center, like stuff like that have said it. But like, can you really trust those without a direct quote from one of them?
Yeah, it's all going back to the same. All those articles are going back to the same source, which is somebody. I believe it's the New York Times. Somebody from the New York Times says that Jordan has told at least one individual that they are engaged. Is what the sourcing, and then it all comes back to that. I don't think it's true. I feel like there's a lot of false engagements that come out.
I mean, it could be a huge game of telephone at this point. Like, she could say, oh, we're talking about getting engaged. And that person could take it, twist it, and be like, oh, Jordan is engaged. That's
Jordan.
it. Oh, shush. It is so easily twisted and manipulated. And, like, it's like gossip. It's like Curry College. You
I
say
don't know what
one
that is. I'm graduated.
I dropped out. You say one thing, and that thing gets twisted and flipped and turned in so many different directions that you rehear this and you're like,
This 5-year-old.
5-year-old. I don't know what you're talking about.
college graduate.
Yeah.
But you like it gets twisted so much to the point where like, can you really like go off of this without engagement photos, a picture of the ring, a direct comment from Bill or Jordan herself, like a comment from family? But like what I have heard is that Bill brought it in Nantucket, and the Nantucket people don't like.
Yeah, because they were all friends with Linda.
Yeah, they pick sides. They picked Linda.
Who's-
I would pick Linda too.
Who's
Linda is his
Who's
former
Linda?
girlfriend.
See, I'm not.
She was
I'm not.
inappropriate, but he refused to marry her. That's the other thing. He refused to marry Linda, someone who's age appropriate, someone that got along with his family, someone that got along with his friends. So why would he not marry her? I mean, obviously he didn't love her, but why would he not marry someone who was appropriate?
I don't know. Maybe that's just something he likes. Maybe that's something he likes. Something that's not
Bill's
correct or right.
Well-
Maybe that's just something he's into.
Mr. Belichick seems like a very simple man in my mind. Like, he likes the simple things. Like, I've
Yeah,
never seen Bill in like a head to toe Gucci suit. Like, I've seen Bill in a ratty old sweatshirt with the sleeves cut off. Like, he's a very simple person, but he's also very smart.
I can also see this Jordan trying to get herself back into the conversation because all of it has recently has been that it's been Bill doing the interviews by himself. Good Morning America. I want to say Shannon Sharp, but that could be wrong as well. So he's been doing a lot of the press by himself and kind of saying she's more the personal side of things. Belichick production. She has nothing to do with UNC, and this could just be her trying to get herself back into the picture of things, leaking a fake engagement because if this was real, she would have posted the pictures on Instagram, the ring, the whole shebang.
I think it would be everywhere. And also that whole thing with like UNC banning Jordan from the stadium, that was fake. So like it is, and that went everywhere and people believed it. I believed it and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. But like it is so, like I said earlier, it is so easy for fake news and fake media to get out there and twist things.
It's like the second they get even a little whisper of something that potentially could be true, they like to take it as if it's true so that they can be the first ones to come out and say it. Be like, oh, we were the first ones to say it, so you have to credit us for when, you hear it. We want to be the first ones because we want everyone to come to our page, watch our media,
Or like you have to
pay attention to us.
You have to pay us for X, Y, and Z because we were the first ones. So
And
it's
especially when it is a big name like Bill Belichick, it's like you want to be the first person with this information because it's such a big name. If it was anyone else, like any other coach, a smaller coach, you probably wouldn't see this happening. You probably would hear maybe one or two things in the grapevine, that's about it. But since it's Bill Belichick, the 6-time Super Bowl winning champion, you're going to see him in every single headline. And I think that's why name value is playing a major factor into all this.
Yeah, and I think that segues us nicely into actual football talk. Because we're not TMZ, we like sports. I don't
like TMZ.
You like TMZ?
Yeah, I like gossip. Sue me.
We're a sports podcast. We're a serious Duckboat Dispatch episode 2. We're a serious sports podcast.
We're a serious sports podcast. We just spent the last 10 minutes talking about Jordan and Bill Belichick.
Jordan.
He brought it.
It's to talk about. It's news. It's news. It's breaking sports adjacent news.
Okay.
Sports adjacent.
Yeah, it's our sports gossip.
No, it is a big topic that is going around in New England. I mean, not even New England, just everywhere.
It is kind of national news now.
It's national.
It is.
Bill Belichick is going out of New England. He's going down to North Carolina.
Yeah, so it is national. I mean, greatest football coach of all time.
Tar Heels games this year. I'm definitely going to one of the games this year.
Because your sister's got a few more years at UNC, right?
No, she's down at Elon, but
it's like close by.
It's close by. She's gonna be a senior.
Oh, okay, so you got one more year.
I know, it's scary. Like, she's still 18 in my mind.
That's if Bill even makes it to the season. He could get fired.
He's not gonna get fired.
He won't get fired.
Possibility.
Do you know how many media folks are gonna be at UNC games now? You know how many cameras are gonna be on Jordan? You know how many cameras are gonna be on her? She's the Taylor Swift of college football.
She's the Taylor Swift and he's the Travis Kelce. Except he's more talented than Travis Kelce.
All right. Well, I don't think Bill's playing
about this anymore.
Bill's not lacing him up. He's coaching from the sidelines.
Hey, you were literally just saying that was a very important job.
It is an important job. I'm not taking anything away from that. But he's not lacing them up. He's on the sidelines.
Yeah, and he's in charge of lacing them up.
Coaching in the NFL is a lot more important than the NBA. I will give you that, Sarah.
100%.
Speaking of who's lacing them up, OTAs are in session now. The New England Patriots doing some 11-on-11 scrimmages. Drake May reportedly threw 4 interceptions yesterday, 2 of them back-to-back to Gonzo. Is it too early to worry about? Because one of the big issues with Drake May last season was the turnovers. Interceptions, fumbles, forcing plays. Is it too early to worry about Drake May having a bad year?
I'm going to be blatantly honest here. I have yet to have 100% confidence in this man. It's more than what I had for Mac Jones. I will start by saying that. But I don't know. I haven't. There's nothing that he's done that has really wowed me.
I do think it's a bit early, but I will go back to my previous statement from the last episode. Or did I say this last episode? I've said this before, that there is a possibility just because with a new head coach and a very young quarterback that you do just see some issues of the adjustment of going into this kind of new football culture, this new play style. We've seen that happen. I mean, look at the Bears, Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, and Caleb Williams. It all happened to the three of them where they played their rookie season, head coach got fired, new head coach, and then they end up, not playing as well. And we could see that from Caleb Williams again this year. We might see it from Drake May. I do think, however, it's too early just because, again, it's not the season. Like, my big thing with the NFL is that so many people will go off about the OTAs, the off season, all this that's not the actual season. They'll say that this player isn't doing well or this player is playing amazing, but come the actual season itself, it turns out that was just a whole lie and that they're completely fine or they weren't what they thought they were. So to me, I make my conclusions on a player once I've actually seen a couple games of actual numbered week regular season NFL games.
That's
And
why.
also just because Gonzo might just be that good. Gonzo also just might be that good. It could be.
I mean, this is why I always like to watch preseason. Like, it is literally a preview into the NFL season. And it's a time to look at the guys that you just drafted, you just traded for, you picked up in free agency. Like, it's a time to see what you have across the board, where they need to do work, somewhere. Because you see a lot during practice. Practice is a time to make mistakes, work on things. And preseason is kind of like an extension of practice. Where, yes, you can make a mistake. I don't love it, but it's really where you really get to see where they need to work with these new people. And also Drake May, he's coming in, like you said, Josh, with a brand new head coach that he's never worked with. A ton of new people that he's never worked with. So he needs to adapt and get comfortable with them before he can start really trusting them and playing the way he did at North Carolina. That's just
I think that is the key point here with Drake May this upcoming season. New head coach, new offensive coordinator, new offensive line, new wide receivers. I think everything is lining up for him to have, I don't want to say a bad year, but a tough year, a struggling year. The McDaniels system is as complicated as they come. People who have been in that room, Brady, other wide receivers, Jules, Gronk. It is as tough as they come to learn for younger players, rookies. So I think May having a step back this year, I don't want to say is expected, because you obviously want to see growth every single year from rookie to sophomore year, but the sophomore slump is a real thing. People have film on May now. They know what he likes to do. Same thing with CJ Stroud, great example, Josh. People have film on you. They know what you like to do. They know your tendencies. And when people line up like this, May likes to go like that. When they line up,
Bryce Young at the start of the season too.
When May wants to zig, they know when he's gonna zig. When he wants to zag, they know when he's gonna want to zag. He's gonna have to work those things out, as well as deal with an entire new head coach, an entire new vision for the team, and a whole new offensive system. So the more I think about it, the more I feel like Drake May is going to struggle this year again. It's May 21st. The season is 16 weeks away, let's say. He has time to learn these things. So on day one of the OTAs, throwing back-to-back interceptions, not once but twice, to Christian Gonzalez, who's one of the best young corners in the league. I don't care what Pro Football Focus's under 25 under 25 says. He should have been on that list. I'm not worried about it yet. Come July, if this is still a thing, I'll be more worried.
I mean, name one quarterback that hasn't thrown an interception.
I mean, it's the back-to-back twice is the scary thing.
Okay, and that happens. So that's the thing, is that he needs to prove himself to me. That's how I am about my quarterbacks. And Tom, you know this. I am picky. But at the same time, that's my quarterback. So I'm going to back him no matter what because I am a Patriots fan. So, like, my loyalty for him is there. So I trust that this year he's going to struggle a little bit because of the things we just talked about. But at the same time, I have such high hopes for him, and I really hope he does accomplish them. Because we need this. And he needs.
You are backing him up because you have the Patriots 10-7. I still have the sheet. I'm keeping that. Sara has the Patriots as the best team, has it with the best record out of the three of us.
I mean, to quote Vrabel in his new show, damn it, I don't remember the quote, but he's
Forge and Foxborough is the show. I don't like that at all, by the way.
What? The show?
The whole Forge, it pisses me off when sucky teams do documentaries themselves. It pisses me off.
I'm sorry.
Win a game.
We're a dynasty for fucking how long? 20 years?
Yeah, and they were 4-13. They're making a documentary, like a Hard Knocks documentary.
Yeah, and they're taping the beginning of our new dynasty.
Or they could be a dumpster fire and Vrabel could be gone in 3 years.
He's not going to be gone in 2 years because he's our next Bill. I'm going to say it right now.
He's our next Bill.
Shut up. But he said, he was like, when was the last time the Patriots won a conference? 2019. He was like, just remember that. And he was like, I don't give a fuck what you did last year. I don't care what you did 2 years ago. No one cares what car you pull up in. No one cares what watch you wear. No one cares what shoes you wear. As long as when you're on that field and you're giving it your best, like the best you can, and you run your routes, make your hits, get to where you need to be and do what you need to do and do it well, no one cares. And I agree with that because I need another Super Bowl run. Personally, I'm itching for it, and I can't watch another year of playoffs without my team in it because I get bored.
Sarah, can I ask you a question? Because I've asked our buddy Tyler Duffy this question, and he kind of broke my heart when he asked this. What would you rather see, a Patriots Super Bowl or a Clemson Natty?
Patriots Super Bowl.
Okay, thank you. Because when I asked Tyler Duffy that question, he said he'd rather see like Alabama Natties rather than Patriots Super Bowls and Celtics championships, and that broke my heart with Tyler.
And he's not a real Boston fan. See, I'm a Clemson fan. Do I consider myself a diehard Clemson fan at this point in time? No. When Trevor Lawrence was there and when I was in high school, yes. But that my answer to that question would still be a Patriots Super Bowl because that has been my team for 23, almost 24 years. Clemson's been my team for maybe almost 10 years.
How long has Duff been a Bama fan for? Do we know that answer,
I
Tom?
have no clue, bro.
Can we not support Bama? I'm sorry, I don't like that team at all. My cousin and I, we go at each other. He's a Bama fan, I'm a Clemson fan. We go at each other every single time we see each other. And it gets
What if we had Duff on the show as a guest one time? How bad do you think that'd get?
Just one time, just let him go.
Just let him go off about Bama and see how pissed off Sara would get.
You don't want to do that. You would not.
I don't know if
Mom would not.
Or the other way around. Let's see how pissed off you can get Duff.
Well, I can just see Duff kind of like buckling when the camera's actually on because he's very camera shy, and I think he'll just buckle and be like, "Yeah, okay, roll Tide. That's respectful. Go Tide."
No,
he would turn his camera off and just be like, "Roll Tide," but sure.
Just text me.
He would turn his camera off, forgot to mute the mic, and you just hear him crying in the back.
Literally, you just text me, TC, I'm uncomfortable. Why are you doing this to me? Please make it stop.
This girl? Why is she so mean?
I mean, do we need to tell Sara? Not exactly, but do we need to tell Sara the story of the very first time we ever had Duff on air?
Oh my god, I was watching this video yesterday, so we had Duff on the air on our radio show at school, and we kind of bullied him into coming on the air the first time, and he was like, guys, I'm afraid of live radio, because we all got a mouth on us, and...
Yeah, tell him what I said.
We're like, Josh was like, it's okay, Duff, just don't say anything stupid and don't swear. Next word this kid says is a swear, and we're like, Duff, come on, bro. So we clip it, it's a great time. So Duff is a little bit of he overcame that fear though. He did a great
He
job this
did.
last semester as our third chair guy.
And he still underestimates himself. He still like thinks he doesn't do a good job. Dude, the amount of times that Tyler Duffy pulled his stuff together and did an outstanding
It's
job.
probably a
My
mental
God,
block.
that kid's great.
It definitely sounds like a mental block. But I mean, if he still has that block, you do not want to put him against me on here. Because I promise you I'll probably make him cry. And he
Maybe
wouldn't.
the first week of college football, we'll have him come on or something like that. Little college football preview.
Okay. I could
I'd like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And I'm
Plan
going to
that
be
for the future.
honest with you, just that you mentioned Clemson out. When you said Don Sweeney yesterday, I thought you meant Dabo Sweeney. And so that's why I was like, oh yeah, I love him. Yeah, I mixed up the Sweeneys.
I was a little confused because you were like, oh, I love that. And then I was like, what are you talking about? Don Sweeney fucking sucks.
I, for some reason, just thought you like
Dumbass.
the Clemson thing and like sent it in the group chat just to like be like, oh, hey, Sarah, like, by the way. And I was like, oh yeah, I love him. And then I was like, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, Don is not his first name. I was like, that's weird. And it's also Sweeney. So it's Dabo Sweeney, but it's spelled Sweeney, but I think it's pronounced Sweeney. I don't really know. But yeah, that's where I just got a little confused.
Donald Sweeney.
The Bruins.
But I like Dabo.
Right. Likes Dabo, dislikes Don. Good to know. Good to know. That's also a really good segue as well, because it brings us to the larger world of sports. And I know we focus mostly on the Celtics, Patriots, Bruins so far. A little Jordan talk in there. But there is a larger world of sports. A little sprinkle of Jordan in there. A little sprinkle. There is a larger world of sports, and a lot has gone on in the last week, which brings us to the tourist attraction, where we all pick one story from the larger world of sports in the United States, and we go around and we talk about it. So we'll start first with myself. The Caitlin Clark Angel Reese situation is like the dumbest situation ever. First of all, Caitlin Clark is the best WNBA player of all time. Hands down, no questions asked. She is a phenomenal basketball player. Angel Reese can't touch her with the candle at all when it comes to that. And they're making this whole foul. It wasn't even that. It wasn't a dirty play. It wasn't a dirty foul. If anything, the play beforehand where Angel pushes the Indiana Fever player out of the way for the rebound was the dirty play, and they're making it this whole big. And I don't want to get into this whole like race conversation because I'd have no business being in that conversation whatsoever. It's just the dumbest. I get drama sells, but I feel like we're getting away from the fact that Caitlin Clark absolutely dusted that Chicago Sky team by 45, and Angel. It's all this whole race thing now.
Wasn't she like the first WNBA player to get like a triple? It was triple something.
She's
Triple
like
double.
in 41 games. She's like top 3 in triple double in WNBA history.
But also, I think they clocked this, that they are aggressive with each other. Both women have come out and said, we don't hate each other. There's no beef here. We don't hate each other. It's just the game. We just get rough on the court. That's all it is. And Caitlin Clark specifically said, she goes, I don't want to make this something it's not. I just want to talk about the game. And I think that's very respectful about her. I think Caitlin Clark is a very respectable female athlete. The way she carries herself, when that foul went down, she put her hands up and walked away as Angel Reese was coming at her. And I mean, I'm not going to say I would never do something like that, because if I got to the point on the court, I probably would. And so I think the WNBA and ESPN, I think they're spinning it, trying to blow it up to be more than it actually is, to get more viewers for the WNBA. Because the WNBA is not what the NBA is. They don't have that fan base. They don't have packed stadiums. Like, I think they're trying to take this and drag it out and pit these two girls against each other, because they're both talented players. I'm not going to say Angel Reese is not talented, because she still made it to the WNBA. Yes, Josh.
I will say she's not that talented.
But she still made it to the WNBA. I mean, she has
Fair.
something. And like, I don't want to take away from her because she worked hard to be where she is. And so did Caitlin Clark, who is undeniably the best player in the WNBA right now. But I just think they're trying to drag it out and spin it so they get more attention.
Well, I think Angel actually is extremely jealous of Caitlin Clark and the media coverage she gets. I think she's extremely jealous of Caitlin Clark. I don't think Caitlin Clark really gives a rat's ass about Angel Reese. I think Angel Reese genuinely is jealous of Caitlin Clark.
I think it could be more she's just kind of over it, because how many times has she been compared to her?
I mean, they're going to be compared because they're going to be compared forever because of the whole Iowa LSU like ring thing. They'll be compared forever. Bird, Magic, WNBA.
That kind of leads me to my little statement. Is so obviously people are trying to turn it into something much bigger than it already is. But when we're talking about an on the court rivalry, it's not really anything comparison wise. If we're talking about talent, Caitlin Clark is 10 times what Angel Reese is. I think Angel Reese is not that good. I mean, if I am being an unbiased, just general basketball fan, which I love to be, Angel Reese sucks. And Angel Reese will come out and say that she's the best player on the court. She is so much better than people say she is, when she's an absolute bum and she sucks. And so like Tom, like you said, she wants this rivalry between her and Caitlin Clark to be like Bird and Magic. That's what she wants it to be. But since her talent on the court can't back up her trash talking that she does so much, this isn't Bird versus Magic. This is LeBron versus Dylan Brooks right here. That's all it is to me. This is LeBron versus Dylan Brooks. Because until Angel Reese can show up on the court and back up her trash talking, she is Dylan Brooks. And she sucks.
What was that quote that Angel Reese said? It's something like, she's like the women of the WNBA, but so am I. It's something.
Oh, we're not just watching women's basketball because of one person. We're watching the WNBA because of me.
Me too.
I will say, I am watching her. I'm watching her fail horrendously because she sucks.
Josh is hate watching.
She's bringing a lot to herself.
It's funny.
I don't know. If I don't watch the NBA, I'm not watching the WNBA. Like, that's just not.
I'm not going to pretend like I'm sitting there and I'm watching every WNBA game. I might throw on a Caitlin Clark game. Don't get it wrong. But I am not throwing on anybody. I couldn't name another. I mean, I can name maybe 5 WNBA players. But Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, is it Aja Wilson?
Aja.
You have Darren Waller's ex-fiance. What's her name? Something Plum, I want to say. And then you have Brittany Griner.
Oh.
It's 5. I got you 5.
I'm going to be so honest right now, and this is going to make me sad.
Haley Van Plith. Don't forget her.
Yeah, you're forgetting the obvious one. My favorite WNBA player. You're forgetting the obvious one, Tom.
Cameron Brink.
No.
She probably
my favorite player.
Come again, Sarah?
I said she probably looks like Sabrina Carpenter.
Not really.
That's why I went Cameron Brink, because Cameron Brink's like 6'7" blonde. Oh my god.
No. I'm talking about Ionescu, dude. Ionescu's a dog. I
have no clue who that is.
I don't know who that
Sabrina is. Ionescu, who went against Steph Curry in the 3-point contest.
Oh, okay. There you go. You got to tell the story. Okay. Now I know who you're talking about.
No, she's my favorite WN player. She shoots lights out. She's great to watch.
Yeah. I'm going to say this, and you guys will be like, yeah, you really should not be on this podcast. I did not know who Caitlin Clark was until like last year or the year before. I was at work and this customer said to me, he goes, you know who you look like? And I was like, who do I look like? He was like, you look like Caitlin Clark. And I'm like, who's that? And I was like,
I see what, like, the hair, the way you have the hair up now, because she wears it a lot when she plays.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I Googled her and I was very offended. But it was because the first picture that popped up was like a picture of her like getting smacked in the face and her face was doing something like weird. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. And after that, I was like, oh wait, no, I do know who this is. I've heard about her on ESPN, but I don't watch. Basketball's not my go-to.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So, it's not your sport.
It's not my sport.
What you don't know is when Sarah's not on the pod, she is chucking them from 25 feet deep, just draining it, nothing but net.
Yeah, my parents wanted me to play basketball very badly.
You got the height. You're tall.
do. I have the height and I have the legs, but
Can't shoot.
no, actually I can. My sister
I
played
told you, she's stroking it from like 25 feet deep. Nothing but net.
my sister played basketball all through high school, and I would always, like, when she was younger, like, my dad would coach and I would go to practice with them, and I
We should
wasn't.
have had you on the Guangdong Tigers
Should have
this
had
year
you in
on
the B
intramural
League intramural
ball.
basketball team. Could have been a world
Yeah.
champ.
I
Oh,
can't
do I have the shirt too? No, I don't have the shirt near me.
put the shirt on. But yeah,
You could have made the team. You could have made the team. We had some players who scored 2 points the whole season. You could have made the team.
I would have done better than that. I'm also very competitive and aggressive, which I'm sure you
Yeah.
guys.
Defensively, we could have used that.
I would have bodied someone probably.
That's okay. Mark concussed a girl by accident.
Of course he did.
Oh my god, that was the funniest thing ever. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
God about
Called the
Mark.
chin play.
He
Called
like
the chin play.
she was a hooper too. She could ball. She had a great driving layup. But she threw an up fake and Mark jumped and beat her in the back of the head because he fell for the up fake from behind. Great times. The
Nice.
glory
I
days.
bring the ball. I'm bringing the ball up. I look at Mark just jokingly. I wasn't actually expecting him to do anything. I go like, Mark, chin, find the chin, Mark. Next play, when I throw him the ball, he just takes her out.
Oh my God.
I'm like, Mark, I wasn't serious. Don't take that seriously. He's like, whoops.
Mark, I feel like struggles with sarcasm.
No, he's just dumbass.
That's what I meant. I was just trying to be nice.
Oh no, I'll say it. I love the kid, but he's a dumbass.
Yeah. I remember
Anyways,
he would hang out, and it just watching them interact with each other was
who?
Mark and Nathan.
Yeah,
Just watching them interact sometimes. Me and Sammy would just be sitting there like, and then Nathan would look at us and be like, I don't know. Like, I can't.
Nate Carp's just as dumb. But anyways, that's a little. I feel like honestly the Caitlin Clark thing is one of the biggest stories in the sports world now. But anyways,
It is.
It's my thoughts for the tourist attraction. Josh, what did you bring today?
So I wanted to just, because I'm really excited for this. This is one of my favorite times, despite the Boston Celtics not being in it. I want to just do a little recap of yesterday's Game 1 Western Conference Finals between the Wolves and the Thunder. Terrific game until the fourth quarter. I loved it. It looked so competitive, especially with Minnesota being a 6th seed. But I still think they're a very good playoff team, especially with Anthony Edwards' mindset. I was expecting this game to be extremely close, and it was up until the fourth quarter when kind of in the third quarter, the Thunder were leading from that like 6-ish to 10-ish range, but then in the fourth quarter they just let up 20 because a lot of like the offense on the Timberwolves, nobody stepped up except for Julius Randle. Not even Anthony Edwards really had that great of a game. It was mainly just Julius Randle stepping up, but the rest of the guys. Granted, it's an extremely defensive team. You only scored 88 points, though. That, to me, you also need to step up your offense as well. The only downfall to their defense, if I want to talk on the defensive sides, were the fouls. The OKC Thunder are a very heavy foul team. They love to draw fouls. SGA loves to. SGA, a lot of his points actually came from the line. He had 31 points, and 11 of those points were from free throws. So if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves, they had 5 fouls within the first 5 minutes of the games. Rudy Gobert had to go sit out already because he had 2. So if you're the Timberwolves, they're an extremely aggressive team, especially on defense, but they need to watch that because that's what's going to end up killing them is those free throws, because that's what the OKC Thunder love to feed off of, are those free throws. They love to just, if you want to say flop, they love to flop. They love to draw fouls, go in deep, drive. That's what they like to do. They like to find their way to the line, and that's what they're ultimately going to kill them with. And I think that's what might have honestly killed them towards the end of this game was because they let up so many foul shots in the first half. And then the Timberwolves also just couldn't finish at the rim. Rudy Gobert couldn't finish at the rim for God knows for his life. When he drives to the rim, I don't know if you noticed this, Tom, when you were watching it, when he drives, like he's in motion, he either just puts the ball out in front of him or he like turns his body so he's facing away from the basket and just drops the ball. Like he can't finish at the rim when he's in motion.
Because he has such a long wingspan. I know, like he keeps the ball so far away from his actual body, which
But
is, I mean,
he doesn't put it up though.
no, it's
He's
like
7 feet tall and doesn't put it up.
he keeps it. He goes like horizontally with the ball. I think the big thing with this series that you touched on, and if Doris Burke is saying it during the broadcast, you know it's a problem. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a free throw merchant. I said last week I thought Jalen Brunson was annoying to watch play basketball because he flops like a fish. I take that back because he is nothing compared to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. This guy is not even getting touched, and it's like he thinks he has a protective barrier around his body, and if that is poked through, this guy is flailing around like he's on Broadway, and it's like Hamilton just got shot, and he is crying. Oh my god, is this guy frustrating to watch basketball? There's pictures of him on Twitter, if you want it, like, of them freeze framing it and looking, and he's like, oh, and there's nobody touching him. It is embarrassing. Like, he is creating the contact, and he is then flopping. It is such a disrespectful way to play the game of basketball, because he is extremely talented. He's probably going to win MVP this year, which is blasphemous in itself, because it should be Nikola Jokic. It should be Nikola Jokic every single year, because he is putting up video game numbers. And SGA is going to get it because he's a media darling. We call Jason Tatum corny. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is probably the corniest NBA player of all time. Like, the pregame fits this guy has. Sara, this dude thinks he's at the Met Gala when he's coming to play a basketball game. It is embarrassing. I can't stand SGA. I can't stand him. And if I have to watch him in 6 more games of this series, because I hope it goes to 7, because it is a great series, and this guy is just going to be crying like a bitch the entire time. And then he goes to the NBA Finals and he starts crying like a bitch on that stage. I'm going to be so mad if he wins.
I'll do you a let me see if I can find it right here. Here we go. This is what Shai likes to wear during the games. This is some of his outfits that he likes to wear
He had
during
like this
his
massive
pregame.
like black like fluffy coat thing. Go to that one on the left, Josh. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, a bunch of cornballs on this team. I can't stand the Thunder. I can't.
It's like
Can you?
Mac, who's that guy that we just picked up in free agency from Buffalo? Mac Holloway.
Collins.
I like him, but he doesn't wear shoes when he practices. Like, just I'm saying he's similar outfit wise, because like some of his outfits are out there, but they're awesome. Like they're fun. Those it looks like he like shops at Target.
Josh, are you able to find the picture of SGA flopping? Because I know Sara didn't want. I don't know if you caught the game, Sara, but let's find the picture.
Is there a specific one you're looking for?
Like, there's one where like he's like in the paint and there's like 4 Timberwolves around him and he's like crying, but there's nobody touching him. If we can just find a good one though, like him flopping.
Soccer?
It's worse than men's soccer. It's honestly worse because you expect it in men's soccer. I'll see if I can text you a picture, Josh. But yeah, there's like 4 people around.
I have this right here, which I can just share with you real quick.
Let's see if it's close, and I'll try to find the picture I'm looking for.
I have this one right here.
Wow.
Like, look at how this guy's flopping.
Like, what the? It seems like he's just dramatic.
He is super dramatic. I just sent you I just sent it in the group chat too, the picture, Josh, if you're able to pull that up. Or if Sara, you want to take a look at it in the group chat. Like, look at, yeah, like nobody's touching him and he's already screaming for the foul. It's embarrassing. It really is like an act against the game of basketball.
I can get behind a little bit that Shai obviously does love to hunt to get himself to the line, but I also just don't want that to kind of become his whole stigma, because he is still a great basketball player. If you watched him, the times where he like didn't flop and actually would create a shot, get his way to the basket, he's smooth with it. Like, he's very creative, he's very stylish with his stuff, he's a smooth operator. But some of the ways he can create his own shot is something that we don't really see from many players, and he is, in my opinion, the best guard in the league, considering that, you know, he is second in MVP voting, in my opinion. I think it should be Jokic as well, but due to voter fatigue, I think it will go to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think Jokic should be. How many has he won? 2, 3?
He's won 2 or 3. He should have won the Embiid year too. By the way,
I shouldn't. That was my next thing I was gonna say. He should have won the Embiid year that He's won 3 out of 4, and that one year that he didn't win was the Embiid year because of voter fatigue. Embiid, it was a complete fraudulent MVP that year. That one should have gone to Jokic. He should be a 4-time consecutive MVP winner.
Yep. How far do you? I see this going to 7. What do you think? How many games do you think, Josh?
I also think this is a 7-game series. Again, that game was an incredible game up until the fourth quarter. I think the fourth quarter, when Minnesota completely collapsed, the Thunder completely took away because no one else on that Timberwolves team stepped up except for Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards. But then again, two guys can't really carry a team all that self, and they also need to watch the fouls again. That's what they need to watch the foul. They need to watch those fouls because SGA will eat you alive on those. He had 14 free throws last night. He made 11.
He's a
Sorry,
bitch.
what was that? Could you say it louder?
He's a bitch.
Tom's mom.
I think I just heard it come in the house, so I do have to watch my mouth now. Anyways, Pacers, Knicks tonight. I have Pacers in 6. Josh, what do you got?
I'm also going to take the Pacers because I like their structure. I like their supporting cast more than the Knicks supporting cast. So I'm also going to take Pacers in 6. I'm going to do the exact same, which I know is not original, but it's what I think. I think the best series though would be Timberwolves versus Knicks in the finals. I think that would be the best matchup. Not like just from a basketball standpoint, what would produce the best matchup, the best basketball, the best games? I think it would be Knicks versus Timberwolves. And so I want it to be Pacers versus Timberwolves because that's just who I want to see in it. But if I'm being an unbiased basketball fan, I want it to be Knicks versus Timberwolves just so I can witness some great basketball.
All right, Sarah, close it out. What do you bring to us today on the tourist attraction?
Brad Marchand.
Belief. You gotta believe.
Yeah. I've seen everyone being like, if you know a Leafs fan, check on them. Because Marchand is the first player in NHL history to have a 5-win takes all against one
He's
team.
won 5 Game 7s against the Leafs, right?
Yes, yeah.
He owns the Leafs.
He does. And I was literally saying, I was talking to Sammy, and she's a New York fan. She's a diehard Rangers fan. Weird, great friendship. We don't like the same sports teams. But I was saying Marchand is essentially the Leafs' kryptonite. They, for some reason, just cannot beat him. But another thing is we're kind of starting to see the old Marchand, which I personally really like that because I want to see him lick someone's face again. I want to see him just play down and dirty and sit in the penalty box for half the game. And I think because he doesn't have that captain responsibility anymore, he can play like that. He doesn't really have to protect his reputation right now. He can play the way he wants to play. He can play the way he did to get himself the name Rat. Like, he plays dirty.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the Panthers needed. They need the Rat. And you love the Rat when he's on your team, but you hate him when he's against you.
Exactly. I still love him because, he was on my team for so long. But, like, Sam Bennett, Matthew Tkachuk, Brad Marchand. You have 3 of the dirtiest NHL players on one team. Never mind the Panthers won the cup last year and they're going to do back-to-back this year if they can. But, like, Marchand getting that Game 3 overtime goal against the Leafs. Brad, like, in the first round, I'm pretty sure his stats were 3 goals and 9 assists. And then one of those 3 goals was an Game 3 overtime winner takes all. It'll just be fun to see, like, can the Leafs avoid Marchand in the future, or will he always just kind of be there down? Yeah.
And on top of that, the Bruins get an extra pick because the Panthers have gone so far in the playoffs, and he's played enough. So thank you, Mr. Marchand, for that extra pick. Don Sweeney will need it.
Real quick, I gotta just share this that I found.
Don't make me sad.
Who owns the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Funny.
Who owns them?
That's
this
good.
man right here.
It's true. It's true.
So I just
If
showed
he's
up.
not going to be on the Bruins, I do want him, especially because the Bruins suck. I'm going to root for him to win a cup because that's
Same.
the whole point of trading him was to get
Exactly.
assets and give him a chance to win another cup.
Yeah. I support Marchand. I will support him for the rest of his hockey career. Do I like the Florida Panthers? No. I hate them. So I hate the Panthers. I don't want you to succeed. I love Brad Marchand. I want you to succeed. I hate the Panthers. I don't want you to succeed. I love Brad Marchand. I want you to succeed. So it's just like, it's hard. But at the same time, like, I'm getting to see the player that I grew up watching and him doing all the things that made him my favorite hockey player. Like, when he licked that guy's face, that was the highlight of my year. Like, I loved that. Because
He's just a dirty guy, and you gotta love it.
And like, who goes onto the ice thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna get my face licked tonight," or "Oh, I'm gonna lick someone's face for no reason just because he's pissing me off." Like that makes me want to play hockey, but I'm a little too late.
Too late for that. Great one. Great addition to the toys attraction. We touched a lot today. We are coming to the end of the podcast, though. Patriots OTAs will continue. Celtics. I'm sure we're going to talk about the Celtics next week and where they should be going. But again, this was episode 2 of the Duckboat Dispatch. Make sure you follow the Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. Am I missing anything, Sarah? You're on the social medias. You're in charge of that.
I think you got everything.
Maybe everything.
Maybe comment something you want us to talk about.
Yeah, if there's something we missed Boston sports-wise. I know we didn't touch on the Red Sox.
Boring.
I don't want to say boring, but there are the dog days. The dog days of the season are coming up.
I don't like baseball. I think it's boring. Sorry.
It's a young person. It is not a young person game. It's an old head game.
It's never been my game.
We'll get more into that when the season comes closer, if they finally ever do call up Meyer or Anthony. Just kind of waiting for that to happen. I don't really care that Alex Cora missed a game for his daughter's graduation, and I don't really care that he got thrown out last night. We'll see what happens. Bueller was back last night. Good to see. Crochet day-to-day. He's pitching. Hopefully they can win a crochet game, but again, that's episode 2 of the Duckboat Dispatch. Follow us on Instagram. Comment something you want us to see us talk about. I was going to say roll tide, but I don't want to get my ass kicked.
Do not. Don't even think about it, Tom.
That's episode 2. Make sure you tune in back in next week for episode 3 of the Duckboat Dispatch. There you go. I can't move my fucking cursor.